Good afternoon, this is Fred Campos, owner of DFW Website Designers, and this is my 3 minutes, 3 tips at 3 o'clock. Now for some of you, you saw me do this at Facebook Live. I was visiting one of my favorite clients, Johnny, who owns Save Your Pest Control. And of course, I'm not in front of my computer, so I'm over at my client site. But what I want to talk to you about today, so the rest of that recording got very choppy. And for those of you that watched it live, you probably heard me. But for those of you that are reviewing it, about a minute and a half of it dropped out as I had intermittent internet connections, which is a free tip that has nothing to do with anything. If you're going to do a Facebook Live and you're not using your standard equipment with your standard internet connection, or you're using a phone, you might want to practice and double check all of your connectivity before you get started, because as I just experienced, learn from me, some of that dropped out. But that's okay, because what I decided to do is that I would just redo that. Shout outs to Johnny for letting me do that on his time live. And if you have pest control issues, definitely go check him out. But I want to redo this so that we can focus on the 3 tips that I gave you earlier today. So, sales. Now I know some people in your organization are saying, Fred, I don't have anything to do with sales in the organization I work with, or my business isn't focused on sales. Well, everybody's in the business of sales. Even if you have a service or a product, you're trying to convince somebody to continue to do business with you or do business with you. So the first low-hanging fruit that you can go to is, number 1, you need to ask for referrals. It's the easiest thing. If you do a great job, ask for it there. If you have a list, you might remind people to give you referrals. We don't buy anything off Amazon that has terrible reviews. We go by good reviews. We buy things based on how other people feel about it. That's just a fact of life. So one of the easiest things you can do is beef up and get referrals. Number 2, to grow your business, when you think from a sales hat perspective, you need to think about appointments. For me, I want to get in front of as many people, set as many appointments of those that need web design, right? If you sell vacuum cleaners, you want to set appointments to actually show off how that vacuum cleaner works, right? If you sell some sort of product or service, you want to increase your appointments. Increase appointments, increases sales. Number 3, you need to understand your product and service so well that you can overcome any objections. You should have a list of the top 10 objections that are going to come up in your particular products and service, and train everybody in your organization to overcome them, to talk about them. Well, I understand how you feel, but this is what I found. Or yes, the price is this, but this is why it is that. You need to have objections down cold. So just a quick recap for those. Number 1, you need to focus on referrals. Number 2, you need to increase and set more appointments. And number 3, you need to overcome objections. So that's it. That's your tips of the day. I'll do a little bit better on connectivity in futures. I'm going to be going out of town for the rest of the week attending a conference, but I will either pre-record or figure out how to do a Facebook Live while I'm at the conference. So I want you guys to continue to always be doing awesome and go back to sleep.